Problems 1 through 8 first. 1 through 8. We want to rewrite each inequality. Write the inequality in interval notation. Interval notation is our notation that uses parentheses or brackets. Our parentheses are not included. Brackets are included. If that endpoint is included, it is equal to it, we use brackets. If it's not, we use parentheses. So we can look at number 1 first. Number 1 has 2 endpoints. So the 2 ends of our interval will be included. Negative 256, comma 100. We put the smaller number on the left, bigger number on the right. Now to determine if it's equal to or not, if we have the parentheses or not, is if it's equal to. Negative 256 is just less than, so it would be a parentheses. 100 is equal to, so it would have a bracket. And that's it. If we have 2 endpoints, we will have those 2 numbers with parentheses or brackets. Number 3. Well, let's do number 2. X is less than 200. How many endpoints do we have listed? 1. Because we just have the 200, yes? If we only have 1 endpoint, it means it's either going to infinity or negative infinity. It's going in one of the 2 directions. So 200 is one of the 2 endpoints. Now, if x is greater than, it's bigger than 200, we would be going to infinity. If x is less than 200, we're going to negative infinity. So is x bigger or smaller than 200? Smaller, so we're going to negative infinity. Now, infinity and negative infinity will always have a parenthesis. The 200, is it equal to it? No, so it also has a parenthesis. And that is it. Questions on 1 through 4. We feel comfortable with 1 through 4. Yes? All right, questions on 5 through 8. Well, 5, our 1 endpoint would be 6, yes? Are we going to positive infinity or negative infinity? Positive, because x is greater. Even though the x is on the left, or on the right side of it, it's still bigger. We're going to infinity. We feel good with 1 through 8. All right. Questions 19 through 24 is set builder. So we have brace. And the first part is going to be our group of numbers. Bar. Description. When I say group of numbers, we're talking about what type of numbers we're talking about. Are we talking about the natural numbers, the rational, irrational, integers, real numbers? Now, if it's not told to us in like number 9, it gave us just the interval, yes? If they give us an interval, it's understood to be the set of all real numbers. And our set of all real numbers is just going to be brace x bar. The set of all real numbers x, such that. Now, they gave us this interval as our description, describing the type of numbers we're looking at. Now, we can't plug an interval into set builder. So what we have to do is rewrite it as an inequality. Now, because we do have 2 endpoints, it means x is in the middle. So negative 24 is less than x is less than 87 is where we can start. Because it just looks like number 1, we're writing it similarly. The only thing we have to include is our equal sign. If 1, both, or neither need it, we need to add it. So negative 24, because it has a parenthesis sign, it means it's not equal to it. 87 has a bracket, so it means it is. And now that we have that inequality written, we can fill it in. And that's it. Questions on number 9? We can do 10 really quick. 10 is nice because it does tell us the set of all integers. So we can't go brace x bar. We have to use our element, that weird looking e, and then our z with an extra line for the integers to satisfy our group, our set of numbers we're talking about, the set of all integers. Then our description is that x is greater than or equal to 200. Since it already gave it to us as an inequality, we don't have to do anything to it. We can just plug it in. And we're done. We're going to look at one more. We'll look at number 11. The set of all real numbers except -2. Since we are talking about the set of all real numbers, we'll go brace x bar. Set of all real numbers. So except -2, so we're saying what? X cannot be -2. Because our except ones with the set builder notation, we say whatever the number type is, set of all real numbers, brace x bar, the set of all integers, brace x is an element of the integers, such that x is not equal to -2, except 40. X is not equal to 40. And that's it. Questions on this here? Questions on any of this so far? If we're good with set builder, we'll move on to systems. Systems of equations were the next type of problems. Now with our systems of equations, you can solve them by hand, work them out if you want to. On the test, the two that are on the test are going to say solve each system of equations by any method. Using the calculator is a method that does work. If you want to solve them by hand, you can solve them by hand. If you want to plug them into the calculator, that works too. The bonus for this test is solving it by hand. So to get the full points for the bonus, you have to solve it by hand. Okay? Now we'll look at this here using the matrix or using the calculator. Because to do that, we first got to write the augmented matrix. And to write that, we need to make sure each equation is in the form x, y, z. All three are. So we're going to take the coefficients. So the number in front of our first x is -1. The -5, -5, 2. Our second equation is 4, -5, 4, 19. And our last one is 1, 5, -1, -20. And the dimensions are 3 by 4. Questions on this so far? Now at this point here, we want to plug it into the matrices, plug it into our calculator. So we can get this here. I'm going to clear all this out. So we're going to go second matrix. First thing we want to do is second matrix and then go where? Over to edit, enter. We'll put it in A. First thing we want to type in are the dimensions. It's not a 3 by 3, it's a 3 by 4. Now we want to type the entire matrix in our augmented matrix. So -1, -5, -5, 2, 4, -5, 4, 19, 1, 5. Let's see here. That should be 5. That should be 1, 5, -1, -20. -1, -5, -5, 2, 4, -5, 4, 19, 1, 5, -1, -20. Once we get it typed in, we do what? Second mode, second quit, second matrix. Now we go over to math and find our REF and hit enter. Now before we can hit enter again, we got to go second matrix, enter. We've got to recall which matrix we want to apply our REF to. And once we get that, we can hit enter. That last column from top to bottom gives us the X, Y, Z values. So X is -2, Y is -3, Z is 3. So when we get that, we can come back over to this here. And we can write the solution down as -2, -3, 3. That there would be the solution. If you want to write those steps out or go back and write those steps out, that would be fine. You can have that on your review sheet. Questions on systems, especially typing them in? I feel good with these here. Hopefully those will be nice points that you can pick up, especially on this test. Systems of equations, there's not going to be a no solution, and there's not going to be an infinitely many on the test. So there will be an ordered triplet for each one of those there. Let's look at 19 through 24. Write the augmented matrix and state the dimensions. I need to change the review sheet. It shouldn't say matrix form. It just should say augmented matrix. So when we write these here, we need to make sure the variables are on the left-hand side and they're in the order X, Y, or X, Y, Z. If we look at 19, the first equation is X, Y equals number. Second one is X, Y equals number. So those are in the correct form, and we can go on and start plugging our numbers in. So for X, the number would be 7, then -41, 29. Our second equation would be 46, -2, 19. And the dimensions would be 2 by 3. And that's it. Questions on how we did 19 before we look at 20? Number 20. The first equation, we have 6x plus 4z equal 2. The variables are on the left-hand side, and they are in the correct order. We don't have y, but that's fine, because the value for y will be 0. We look at the second equation. We have y minus 7x plus 4z equals 15. The numbers are out of order. We have to switch the x and y. Now, do we have to rewrite it out? No, because since x and y are on the same side, we can just switch their position. We just have to remember that the x's number is negative and the y's would be positive. The last equation is x, y, z, so we're good there. So if we look at the top equation, our first number would be 6 for x. Now, because there's not a y variable, it's understood to be 0. The number for z would be 4, and the last one would be 2. Our middle equation would be -7 for x, 1 for y, 4 for z, and 15. And our last equation would be 6 for x, -1 for y, 3 for z, and 20. And this matrix here would be a 3 by 4. And that's it. Any questions on 19 through 24? If we feel good with writing these matrices in augmented form, we'll move on to 25 through 29, really 31. we want to apply these transformations. Now, when we apply the transformation, I would be sticking to these general forms for vertical and horizontal translation, reflection, vertical, stretch, or shrink. I am not including horizontal stretch or shrink on the test. There will not be a problem that asks you to stretch the function horizontally or shrink it horizontally. So looking at 25 through 29, is there one of those in particular that y'all want to look at or see done? Any one of those that you struggled with or had trouble finding the equation for? Okay. Because if not, we'll just do 25 to start with, and then we'll pick another one. So the first thing is a translation up 3. So our up or down general form is f of x plus k, where k is the amount that we move the function up or down. Now, since we're moving it up 3, our value of k is positive 3. If we'd gone down 3, our value of k would be negative 3, minus 3. Now, at this point here, we still just have f of x. So we can replace f of x with its function. We can replace it with the 6x squared minus 1. Since there's nothing in front of the parentheses, we can go on and drop them and then combine like terms. Negative 1 plus 3 is positive 2, telling us that our new function is 6x squared plus 2. I'm going to give it a name. It really doesn't matter what name we give it. I'm just going to call it g of x. So at this point here, we've finished applying that first transformation. Now we need to apply the second, the horizontal, misread that, vertical stretch of 2. Now the general form for our vertical stretch or shrink is a times f of x. But because we're not applying it to f of x, we're applying it to g of x, we're going to say that it's a times g of x. Now, a is the amount that we are stretching or shrinking the function by. And because they told us it's a vertical stretch of 2, we're going to replace a with 2. Now at this point here, we're going to replace g of x. Since we have our 2 times g of x, we have it set up. We're going to replace g of x with what it's equal to, because it's still just g of x, which will give us 2 times our 6x squared plus 2. At this point here, we'll distribute the 2. 2 times 6x squared is going to be 12x squared. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now, since that is the last transformation it asked for, 12x plus 4 is our final answer. Any other questions on number 25? Be good with number 25. Yeah. We're ready to look at, say, 26. 26, f of x equals the absolute value of 2x minus 1. We want to translate it 4 units right, or right 4 and up 3. Now, translate right 4, that is a horizontal translation. So we will move the function left or right, where h is the amount that we move it left or right. Now for this here, I'm going to go on and write our value of h in. Now since we're moving it right 4, the value of h is positive 4, because right is positive. Now we will plug that value of h into our function. We'll plug it into h, telling us that we have x minus 4. If we had been moving left 4, our value of h would have been negative 4. We would have plugged it in and got x minus negative 4. That negative and negative would make a positive. Now at this point here, we don't have f of x anymore. We have f of x minus 4. So that means every x in f of x needs to be replaced with x minus 4. So we have absolute value of 2 times x minus 4 minus 1. Now at this point here, we can distribute the 2. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Before we can say this step is done, we can combine like terms. Telling us after we move this function 4 units to the right, we get the absolute value of 2x minus 9. Questions on the right for before we move it up 3. Up 3 is a vertical translation, and the general form is normally f of x plus k. But we're not applying it to f of x anymore, we're applying it to g of x. And our value of k is positive 3, so we'd say g of x plus 3. If it had said down 3, we would have said g of x minus 3. Now at this point here, we still have g of x, so I can replace it with the absolute value of 2x minus 9 plus 3. At this point here, we can drop the absolute values and combine like terms. Are there any like terms here? I mean the negative 9 and 3, but because the negative 9 is inside the absolute values and the 3 is outside, we cannot combine them. That is it. So our final answer for this here is the absolute value of 2x minus 9 plus 3. Any other questions on this here? We feel pretty good with transformations. All the transformations on the test, it's only asking you to do 2 on each problem. And neither one of those will be a horizontal stretch or shrink. Vertical stretch or shrink, yes. Reflections, yes. Translations up, down, left, right, yes. Horizontal stretch and shrink, no. If we feel good with this here, we'll move on. I know it says 30 and 31. On your paper it says 32 and 33, but we'll look at 32 first. 32, we're applying a scale. We're scaling this. We're applying a scale multiplication of 1/4. We're going to multiply every number in the matrix by 1/4. So we'll have 1/4 times 16, and 1/4 times 24, and 1/4 times 30, and 1/4 times 9. We're multiplying all the numbers in this matrix by 1/4. Now you can do this by hand and simplify that way. Or you can grab a calculator and say 1/4 times 16 is 4. 1/4 times 24 is 6. 1/4 times 30 is 15/2. And 1/4 times 9 is 9/4. If you feel comfortable with it, you don't have to, but especially some of it is nice. So the system of equations, it'd be nice to write the augmented matrix. That way I can try to get you some points back if I know what happened. But yeah, no, if you want to go straight from, to skip that middle step and go straight to 4, 6, 15/2, 9/4, go for it. Any questions on 32? Questions on 33 or 34? Or either one of those that y'all want to see? We feel good with 33 and 34? How about 35? What is the answer for 35? No solution. Undefined, not possible because the first one is a 3 by 3. The second one is a 3 by 2. For two matrices to be able, well, for us to be able to add or subtract two matrices, the dimensions have to be the same. If they are not the same, we cannot add or subtract them. Yes? There will be probably be at least one of those that we can't add or subtract. It'll be very similar to this. So 33, there might be one like 33 on the test that's just undefined or not possible, no solution there. And the reason I would include that, but I don't include the others there, we're looking at the matrices. Are the dimensions the same? If they are, we can do it. If they're not, we can't. I don't include no solutions, especially with systems of equations, solving those, because y'all's first answer is not normally, oh, it is no solution or infinitely many. It's more likely I did something wrong, and you're going to spend more time just trying to figure out that, oh, no, that was the correct answer than just moving on. I don't include no solution on the test, and if I do, I give a lot of hints that there might be one like 33 on the test, or 35 on y'all's here. Questions on this here? All right, if we feel comfortable with matrices, we're going to look at the last problems. Write the equation of a line and describe the slope. So we're looking at 39. Now on the test, you will not have to describe the slope. You just need to find the equation of the line. Now to find the equation of a line, we need two things. Well, one main thing we need first is the slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So they gave us 2 points, yes? What's one of the two y values? 90. And the other is 40. So on top, we'll have the two y values, 90 minus 40. Since we put 90 first, we have to put its corresponding x value of 40 first, and then 15 second. At this point here, can I type the whole thing into the calculator? Yeah, I can grab the little yellow calculator, say 90 minus 40 over 40 minus 15, and it'll tell us the slope. If we did it by hand, 90 minus 40 is 50. 40 minus 15 is 25. 25 divided by 2, or 25, 50 divided by 25 is 2. Now, we need to find the equation of a line. They did not tell us the y-intercept. We could have used the slope, or we can use the slope to find it and kind of work our way towards x equals 0. But it's going to be a lot quicker to just use point slope, plug in a point and the slope to find it. (15, 40) or 40, 90? Which one do we want to use? As x or y? So 40 is x or 40 is y? Is y. 15 is x. Now the first thing we'll want to do after plugging the slope and point in is to distribute the slope. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. At this point here, we need to get y by itself, so we would add 40 to both sides. Negative 40 plus 40 will cancel. Minus y is equal to 2x. Negative 30 plus 40 is plus 10. Questions on this here? Interestingly enough, even if I pick the other point, there's only a few things that it would change. You don't have to write this down. You'll see why. I'm going to erase 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. Because our other point was 90 for y, 40 for x, yes? Well, 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 40 is negative 80, yes? On the y side, we'll have y minus 90. At this point here, we would add 90 to both sides. Negative 90 plus 90 is 0, giving us y by itself, yes? What's negative 80 plus 90? We get the same equation, yes? Does not matter which of the 2 points we use. We just have to use one of them. It will give us the equation of y. The only ones we can't use are 15 to 90. 15 for x, 90 for y, because that's not a point on this graph. Questions on 39 before we look at 40. Number 40. Again, first thing we need to do is find the slope. What's one of the x or y values? 65. What's its corresponding x? 5, yes? What's the other y value? Because they gave us this point here, yes? So the other y value is 65. What's its corresponding x value? 0. 65 minus 65 is 5 minus 0. What is 0 divided by 5? So our slope is 0. It is not no solution. I can tell you that right now. Because we can still plug in our point and the slope at a 0. So we'll use the point 65, 5, or 5 comma 65. 5 for x, 65 for y. Y minus 65 is just going to say y minus 65 for now. On the right-hand side, 0 times x is 0, yes? 0 times negative 5. What happens to the entire right side of the equation? 0, yes? Still got to get y by itself, so we will add 65 to both sides, telling us y is equal to. Not going up, not going down, just flat line. Questions on this here? Questions on any part of this here? All right. I will post this up on the playlist for y'all's YouTube channel, for y'all's YouTube playlist. I have posted another review video up there also. It is the full review video. It is every problem on this, even the matrices or the systems of equations. I do solve them by hand and I do solve them in the calculator. The matrix operations, I do solve them by hand and I do solve them in the calculator, so you do have both. So if there's a question you're going over it tonight or looking back over it tonight, and you have on those, either email me or pull that up. One of those two will answer it. All right?